Is it worth it to go to a meditation retreat? Well, let me share with you my experience at a Vipassana meditation retreat. Back in 2010, I found myself at a Vipassana meditation retreat. I had no idea really what I was getting myself into because I had no experience with meditation. In fact, one of the reasons I was going there was was a curiosity, I guess you could say, about I was just going to kind of lightly introduce myself to meditation. I was going through, I think, felt like a pressurous time for me. In retrospect, I'm going to say it was menopause approaching, and not having really any clear understanding of that. I wasn't sure what was happening to me, so I felt I needed to get away maybe and take some time for myself. I ended up going to the Vipassana retreat. And I will say I did look at the instructions, but when I glanced at them, which is really all I did, I don't think it really sunk into me how much meditation this was, and that I was going to be immersing myself in this. And that's what happened. So I arrived. The first time I went, I was in a room with somebody else, somebody who actually has become one of my closest friends to this day. And I will say that after 3 days of being there, I thought I was going mad. I thought I was possibly in a cult. And I was feeling a lot of, I'm going to call it just disturbance. And I went to the people that run it. It is in silence, of course, but they do provide you a teacher to speak to if you're going through anything that you need to talk to somebody. So I did go to see the teacher for about 5 minutes. God bless the teacher, because for some reason and somehow this teacher did talk me into staying, and suggested that perhaps the way I was feeling was very similar to the way I was feeling before I came up there. And I thought about that, and it was quite true. It was a very similar experience. Of course, my mind was a different story, but the actual feeling was quite similar. So I thought, okay, she seems to know what she's talking about, so I'm going to stay. On the 8th day of a 10-day silent retreat, something did happen to me. I had, I guess it's called a direct experience with my own true nature. Some call it a communion with God. Some people call it, I think, a satori, or along these lines. It's something that can happen to a person when they do a lot of meditation. It can also happen to a person who has never meditated, but who's going through a difficult time and kind of begs the universe for mercy or help. It could happen to you then. But what it is it's an experience where basically you acknowledge yourself without any mental help. So basically, I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, I guess you would say I dropped out of thought. I dropped out of thought. I cannot say that nothing occurred to me, because things were occurring to me, insights, etc. But it was completely different than anything I have experienced. At that time, I was 40-something, and I had never experienced anything like this. I didn't know this was a thing. And come to find out, it's kind of the holy grail for meditators. And yeah, so I can only describe it as once my mind shut off, and things came to me, not necessarily as a thought, but I'm going to call it as a knowing. One of the ones was that I was a very beautiful soul, like just absolutely beautiful. And I felt it, and I had never felt that in my life. As you can see, I'm kind of unusual looking, so it wasn't something I ran around feeling. Second of all, I was really intelligent, just very intelligent. And this was, again, the opposite of how I felt. I've actually been a kind of a, you could say, self-deprecating person my whole life. It's just part of my personality. And so this was, again, a very unusual experience for me, because it was experiencing myself as a beautiful, intelligent person, spirit, really. It wasn't like I was a person. That was another thing. I had no body. The body was here. I could see it, but I could not feel it at all. It was like I was just energy, and just a vibrating energy. That was it. And it was absolutely beautiful. The other thing that happened, which was even more profound really for me, was not only did I feel this way about myself, or did I see this in myself, did I have this knowing of my, I could call it a deep love for myself, but I began to feel it for everybody. And everywhere I looked, I felt it for everybody. I couldn't even come up with a person that I did not feel that toward, which also was something quite unusual. And so, yeah, that was my experience. That full-blown body dissolution, I call it, was maybe, I have no idea time-wise. I could say it was an hour or two. But then I did remain in a kind of a, I call it, I felt like a, I just kind of remained in this love for myself, for others. It brought me to tears. It was so profound and beautiful. And I have achieved it since then, not at a Vipassana retreat, somewhere else, which I will tell you about on another video.